I've asked ChatGPT to write my college essay. Well, not exactly. I've already been to college, but I give it a general essay prompt and we'll see what it came up with. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Hillary, an essay specialist with Vanguard College Prep. We work with students on test prep, college counseling, and college application essays. Get yourself a beverage and we'll get into ChatGPT's essay draft. Here's my first question to ChatGPT. I am applying to the top colleges in the United States. Please write my Common App personal statement. The word limit is 650 words. The AI entitled the essay Embracing the Unseen Canvas, which I guess is interesting, but how do you embrace a canvas that you can't see? Is this physical, metaphorical? Food for thought. Here's the essay. As I stood before the blank canvas, a rush of anticipation coursed through my veins. The possibilities seemed endless, just like the path I was about to embark on, my journey through higher education. Like an artist confronting a blank canvas, I realized that the next strokes I would make would shape not only my academic future, but also my personal growth. This pivotal moment ignited a flame within me, urging me to step outside of my comfort zone, explore uncharted territories, and become the artist of my own life. Alright, this is just the first paragraph. So I'm going to pause here and talk about this for a second. This paragraph is talking about writing this essay. It's this weird meta moment where the AI is saying, I'm looking at a page and I'm going to create something that's going to start my journey into higher education. So, this essay. There's no need to do that. Why would you do that? The college admissions officers already know that you're starting on your journey to higher The college admissions officers already know that you're starting on your journey to higher education. There's no need to reiterate that. And, of course, this is a waste of your word count. Alright, second paragraph. Growing up in a small town, my experiences were confined to a familiar landscape. The colors on my palette were limited, and I yearned for the vibrancy of diverse perspectives. A desire to broaden my horizons and challenge myself led me to seek opportunities beyond my immediate surroundings. The journey began with joining Model United Nations, where I immersed myself in diplomatic simulations, tackling global issues alongside students from diverse backgrounds. Through passionate debates and negotiations, I learned the value of collaboration, compromise, and understanding, a vivid hue of diplomacy that I was eager to apply to my own life. A lot of buzzwords here. Diversity, tackling global issues, passionate debates. But the first three sentences are saying nothing. They can be condensed, they can probably be cut out. The theme of painting is continuing, but there's no point in it. A metaphor should help you understand a description or a situation, but here it just sounds flowery. Most people understand that a small town doesn't have much diversity and perspective. I grew up in a small town myself. I'm aware, and the college admissions officers probably are too. And, of course, if you're going to talk about your experience, you need to show, not tell. This is only telling about MUN. It's essentially saying, I did all these cool things, but it doesn't talk about the cool things, about that situation that you thought was so cool at Model UN or anything like that. So it doesn't really give me any info about the person. It doesn't enable me to see, obviously it's not a person, it's an AI. Hypothetically, it doesn't give me any information about the person who's writing this essay. It doesn't allow me to see how they respond in certain situations. It just tells me that they were in those situations and that they wanted to apply it to their life. I don't get to see them doing it. Now, listen to this paragraph. However, it was during a service trip to an underprivileged community that I discovered the transformative power of empathy. Interacting with individuals whose struggles were foreign to me, I came face to face with the harsh realities that many people face daily. The experience left an indelible mark on my soul, fueling my commitment to use my voice and privilege to advocate for positive change. It was in those moments of connection, despite our differences, that I realized the potential we all have to create ripples of impact, no matter our background or circumstances. Cliché. Don't ever do this. First of all, you're learning not through your own experiences, but through the experience of someone else, which isn't authentic. It's insulting to the community because you're using their lack of privilege to show change in your life. And this learning experience doesn't actually show lasting change, which is what the admissions officers want to see. The only situation where it's okay to talk about visiting an underprivileged community and how that was a learning experience for you was if you actually were taking action and are continuing to. So say you visited a community, you took action there, so you were helping people, you show how you were in action, and then you go on and it impacts your whole future. If that isn't you, if you didn't go start an organization because of your experience and are continuing with that organization, do not talk about visiting an underprivileged community. Aside from that, this is telling, not showing, it's vague, and it's unconnected entirely with the art theme that ChatGPT started with. So, we'll see how that turns out. Art, in all its forms, has always held a special place in my heart. Beyond the traditional canvas, I found artistry in the written word, in scientific exploration, and in the nuances of human connection. I became fascinated by the intersections of different disciplines, seeking to merge the analytical mindset of a scientist with the creative thinking of an artist. The beauty of this symbiotic relationship inspired me to explore the intersection of biology and environmental activism, conducting research on sustainable agricultural practices to combat food insecurity in marginalized communities. While the ideas here are good, having both analytical and creative skills is something that's important to the admissions committee, this is still quite vague. I want specifics. What intersections did the hypothetical writer look at? How can you show the reader the analytical mindset of a researcher and scientist and the creative thinking of an artist? And give details about those agricultural practices and how they were used to combat food insecurity. If this work really was something impactful to the writer, then the whole essay should be starting off with this work. It should be starting off with the writer in action, showing how they're putting together some creation, some sort of water filtration system, something hands-on that they can show that is combating this food insecurity. And then the essay would go on to show how they got there and where they're going in the future. As it is, this is another vague moment. The pursuit of knowledge is a journey that never truly ends. It is a lifelong commitment to personal growth and the pursuit of excellence. And as I stand on the precipice of this new chapter, I yearn to join a community that embraces intellectual curiosity and encourages me to explore the uncharted territories of knowledge. I seek an institution that not only values academic achievement, but also fosters an environment of inclusivity and collaboration, a place where I can contribute to a vibrant mosaic of ideas and perspectives. Okay, first of all, don't we all? Don't we all want to be inspired and join a community of inclusivity and collaboration? And I'm just now realizing that this essay isn't about painting after all. With the first paragraph the way it was, talking about a blank canvas, the title, Embracing the Unseen Canvas, I thought for sure we were going to have an essay about art. And instead, the painting so far has just been a metaphor, and we're almost to the end of the essay, and it wasn't even a very connected metaphor. So don't include unrelated themes in your essay. If you're going to include an extended metaphor like art or something similar, then you need to talk about your own art. You need to talk about a painting that you made and compare it to another thing that you made, or compare the creative process of the painting to the analytical process of combating food insecurity. I need to see that metaphor specifically connected to you. Oh, also, this whole paragraph is virtually useless. It's total fluff, and it only takes up your word count. Don't do that. Use your word count wisely. While my path forward remains unknown, I am driven by a resolute determination to push boundaries, challenge assumptions, and make a positive impact on the world around me. I aspire to seize every opportunity, taking inspiration from the hues of diversity. What? And the intricate brushstrokes of collaboration. I am ready to embrace the unseen canvas, armed with the belief that education is not solely about acquiring knowledge, but also about discovering one's purpose and igniting the flames of passion within. In this vast and ever-changing world, I am but a single stroke of paint, eager to merge with others to create a masterpiece. Together, let us breathe life into ideas, redefine possibilities, and leave an indelible mark on the canvas of our shared humanity. ChatGPT is not a human. I feel like maybe it's pushing the humanity a little too hard. This is flowery, but not necessarily bad. I cut the first sentence of the last paragraph. The second one is okay, but I can't believe the writer would push boundaries, challenge assumptions, etc. when they haven't actually shown themselves doing any of that. They've only talked about it, and they haven't shown a single scene where they can illustrate that. And since they haven't shown themselves in action, then their call to me to do it with them is unclear, it's not attractive. The essay does have some good points, such as the comparison between analytical thought and creative thought, but I've decided to do it again. Here's the next prompt I'm going to be using. Please do it again with the topic of my growth in coding. My dad created a program for me that taught me how to multiply when I was young and homeschooled, and soon after, I took a typing class. Check back next week for another video where I provide topic and content for ChatGPT to work with. Leave a comment if you have a question on test prep, college counseling, or college essays that you'd like me to answer, and subscribe and hit that notification bell if you want to be notified for our next video next week on ChatGPT.